Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I want to be showing you guys what I think are like the most important top 5 endgame perks in these skill trees that I think are just really invaluable in the endgame of Starfield. My total time right now invested into Starfield is 217 hours according to Steam. I've got 3 characters and this one is my main. And so these are the things that I've landed on in the endgame that they literally carry me at times. And I think they are just so important. This character is well up over level 100. I've spent most of my time with this guy, mainly investing in piloting skills. That's why almost all of these are maxed out. But I've also invested in a lot of other perks, and some of these I had not invested in until I spent time investing in them on my other characters, and I was like, wow, this is really helpful. I'm gonna go back to my main and unlock this perk. The first perk I wanna cover is Aneutronic Fusion. So Aneutronic Fusion, this is a perk in the science tree, and it basically gives you more power units in your ship. So ultimately an additional 5. Now this is actually really helpful because as you're flying around, especially in the end game, you're going to be taking on bigger numbers of enemy ships that are, you know, 40 plus in level, 50 plus. Sometimes you're going to get jumped by 3 starborn ships that are level 72, and you need to be able to actually handle a fight with them. And a lot of times that means it's like, man, I need to be dumping out a lot of damage, but I don't want to cut back on my engines. I don't want to cut back on my shields. I kind of need everything firing on all cylinders right now, and when you have 5 extra power units to spare, that goes a long way in a fight. So even when you have like one of the best 2 reactors in the game, this is still going to add additional power units on top of it, and they're going to come in handy. They could be the difference between living and dying in a starfight. The next perk that I think is invaluable that you've got to have for endgame stuff, honestly, medicine. So this is something that I started investing in early in the game, and then on other characters I skipped it, and I really felt the effects of not having this present on my characters. And so especially now that I'm in the end game, and a lot of times I'm fighting enemies that are really high leveled and they're using really high end game weapons against me, sometimes you get hit by a sniper round that takes a lot of your health out, and you need to be able to recover that health very quickly. So at tier 4, medicine is going to give you, well, med packs, trauma packs, and emergency kits. They're going to restore 50% more HP, and they're going to do it 50% faster, and in addition to that, they do have a chance to cure any affliction. So if you got burns, lacerations, stuff like that, so they definitely come in handy. This is certainly something that's going to help you out when you're fighting bigger, badder endgame enemies in Starfield. The next thing I want to highlight for endgame is scavenging. Commerce and persuasion, obviously very important, but I think those are more early game perks that are really helpful then. You don't really use persuasion checks a whole lot once you've like finished everything. So end game, not quite as important. Same thing with commerce. Usually by the time you're in the end game, you've got a lot of money and you don't really need to get more. And you might just be tired of picking up items off of bodies and then going and selling them all the time, when scavenging is going to give you more credits as you're out there without having to carry extra weight. It's going to give you, this is really important, extra ammo when you find ammo, because ammo is one of the things that I think is one of the most scarce commodities in this game, especially if you want to main a certain type of weapon. That can be a problem because ammo is expensive, for one. You don't want to be constantly dumping credits just to buy ammo for the guns you like. And then if you're trying to main a certain type of weapon, you're going to run out of ammo quickly, and then you're going to have to stop using it while you start to stockpile ammo again. So being able to get extra ammo when you find ammo is certainly a huge endgame thing, especially since a lot of enemies in the endgame have a lot of armor, and so you're going to be burning through a lot more ammunition anyways, so that's hugely helpful. At rank 3, you're also going to start finding more med packs on people that you kill. Sometimes you're going to kill somebody, walk up to his body, he's going to have 2 med packs on him, and those have a lot of extra mileage now that we've leveled up the medicine tree as well. And then finally, this one here, the last tier of the scavenging perk, makes it so that when you're using the hand scanner, it's going to highlight in like this bright orange color anything that is something you have tagged as an item you're searching for. So if you're crafting, if you're looking for research materials for the research projects you have going on and you track those projects, maybe you're trying to build like a commercial grade extractor for neon or Veryl or some rare material, and you need something, a specific item to build that thing, and you track it. Hey, this is going to help you know when you walk into a room, there's just tons of random junk all over these rooms in these dungeons that you go into. You open up the hand scanner and you just scan across the room. You just pan your camera across the room and it will let you know, oh, this is something you need, this is something you need, this is something you need. So that saves you a lot of time where you would walk to a room and you start opening up all the cabinets and the shelves and the chests, and you're going through everything to try and find if there's anything you need. Just cuts all of that hunt out of it. Open the scanner. If it's there, go grab it. If it's not, move on. Saves you so much time. Item number 4. This, I think, is criminally slept on. Or it's a combination of two things. One, it's either criminally slept on, or two, people don't have the patience to level up this perk. Fitness. I'm telling you guys, I am so glad that I maxed out fitness, especially with endgame stuff. We spend so much time running in this game. We don't have vehicles or mounts outside of our starships. When we're on a planet's surface or a moon's surface or in a dungeon, we need all that extra stamina to stop us from having to like pace ourselves. You know, a lot of times you're scanning through a planet, or maybe you're trying to get the survey done of a planet. You like sprint, and then you hit the red meter, and then you have to stop and wait for it to replenish, and you're walking along. Hey, this is going to basically make it so that you have a lot less downtime in the game. You can just constantly be going. And if you have doubts about how much more oxygen you get, let me show it to you. So real quick, rank 1, 10% more oxygen available. Rank 2, 20%. Rank 3, 30%. Rank 4, sprinting and power attacks now use significantly less oxygen. Let me quantify that for you. So with a visual representation, here is my character just before leveling up the perk to tier 4. So I'm at tier 3. And so the difference here is huge. I start at this yellow marker here in Cheyenne at the Aquila City, and I run all the way into town, and this is as far as I get. I get to the corner of the hitching post. You can see this little stack of wood over here to my left. That's as far as I'm able to run before I hit my red meter. Now let me show it to you when I just unlocked tier 4. So that's tier 3. Here's tier 4. I'm running, and then I have only used 50% of my total stamina. Only half, and I get as far as I did with all of my tier 3 stamina. Oxygen, whatever, you get it. So the difference between tier 3 and tier 4 is that it literally doubles the amount of oxygen that you have. Doubles it. Or I think more accurately speaking, it cuts your usage in half from tier 3. So you can now go twice as far. But what if you haven't invested in the fitness perk at all? You haven't done ranks 1 or 2 or 3. Well, here's what that looks like on a character that has no perk points in fitness. You get nowhere. I mean, I get out of the basically the parking spot for my ship, and I don't even get under the archway and into the main gate of the city. I stop just short of the main gate into Aquila City. That's how far you can get. So I would have to stop and regenerate my stamina twice to get as far as I get at rank 4. That's nuts. So all this to say, in the end game, you're going to be running around a lot. It's just part of the game. You may as well save yourself a ton of time by cutting your stamina usage way back to a third of what you normally do, or half if you're at tier 3. And I know that it's a slog. I know that it's so slow to level up this perk. Basically what I did is I over encumbered myself, and I had multitasking. I had a lot of other things I was doing, some editing work, some bookkeeping that I was doing. And I started here in Aquila City, and I just ran from my ship to the technician and back while over encumbered, and that used all my oxygen. I stopped, I turned, and I continued working. I turned back when all of my stamina was back, and I did it again. And I literally did that for about an hour and a half while I was doing other things. I just kind of would turn and do my sprint and then turn back. And eventually, I got it leveled up. In about an hour and a half, I got from rank 3 to rank 4, because you have to do that 100 times. It's long. It's long. So worth it, though. You gotta do it. And the last thing, so it's really hard to boil the tech tree down, because, I mean, all these are important, right? Extra shields and the ability to sometimes just negate damage. That's huge. Targeting and cutting your targeting speeds down to 60% by 60%. That's huge. Starship design, piloting, jetpack training, all those things are really, really crucial, absolutely. But I think a lot of these things are early game, okay? Boost pack training is really, I mean, you could take it or leave it. Just spend a couple of perk points in that. I didn't max that out until I was over level 100, because I just didn't feel the need. Targeting controls, this is something that you probably invested in early game, and it's really a big part of piloting for sure. But in the late game, what are the things that are going to be the difference makers? So I'm assuming you've done that. I'm assuming you've done piloting so that you can get access to, you know, B and C class ships. But now we're in the end game. What's important? This is what I'm going to focus on. Engine systems. I think this is something that's easily overlooked in the game. But the tier 4 ability that you get from engine systems is so freaking useful. Look at this. While boosting, all enemies disengage the player and can only reacquire them as a target after the player stops boosting. So, your boosts are going to last longer, take you further, take you faster, so you can bug out of a fight. And then you can hit the thrusters and pull a 180. Basically, literally spin your ship while you're flying at, you know, 180 speed or whatever it is. And then you hit the brakes, you spin the thing around, and then you can just snipe people as you're floating backwards. And they lost the targeting, you know, on you during that process. It's a game changer. It basically can make it so that you are unkillable in a dogfight if you boost at the right time in the right direction and you know how to use your systems properly. So I highly recommend the engine systems at full tier 4 as a necessary, non-negotiable endgame perk. So there you have it. Those are what I think of the top 5. That's 10, Ryan. Let's go with that. Top 5 endgame perks you've got to invest in Starfield. Let me know what perks you think are invaluable. What things have really come in clutch for you that maybe I missed or you think are more important than the things that I listed. Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks so much for all the support on my Starfield content. It's been so much fun covering this game. Be warm and well fed, my friends, and I hope to catch you among the stars. Bye-bye.